the new way to live is really reflecting on our awarenesses of how our understanding of the world has really shifted. And the world primarily, or we're all conscious that primarily the world's very difficult to understand. We live in a time where there are multiple perceptions, different types of truths. There's a denial of particular logical ways of thinking. And so the world is a more confusing space now. So we have to find ways of living and ways of being in a space that unfolds in kind of ways that are almost uncanny and very quickly. We live in a time of very fast change. So my exhibition reflects on that. The exhibition is me trying to capture that atmosphere where things are recognisable, but somehow they're not recognisable at the same time. Well, the society that is image saturated, it's true. It's very saturated. Since the arrival of the internet, we can't even comprehend the amount of images that are in the world. It's like a vast, sublime ocean of images. Painting is a different thing. One of the things that I'd say about many images is that they float. And they're often, over a period of time, decontextualised from their original source. So a painting is a thing, and so it's not just an image. A painting arrives as an image, but a painting is an image embodied. And its embodiment helps it create types of sensations, feelings for the viewer that they in turn feel in their bodies. So visiting a painting or looking at a painting is an intimate thing, much like meeting someone. And so painting is a very relevant medium because it has a sense of, it's a bit old-fashioned, this word, but a sense of authenticity or actuality about it. Well, the art world has increasingly become commercialised, and that's really just a facet of the times we live in again because of the proliferation of the dominant culture, the capital-based culture. There are different types of paintings, different types of encounters with paintings, and so painting in a commercial environment resides very well. It is a commercial product, and it's something that can be an intimate experience in someone's house, actually an intimate experience in a museum. But paintings exude or reflect or transmit truths, and we know that when we come across a painting of that nature. And therefore, the commercial world exists, painting engages in that, but there are all sorts of degrees of painting. So painting's kind of something more than that, something beyond that. It's a unique, authentic experience. People will always paint. People who paint in unique ways or think in unique ways will always be of interest in society. As I've indicated, painting transmits itself in a particular way, and we've remained fascinated in painting across centuries. Painting communicates more than an image, more than a skill. It communicates sets of feelings that shift the way that people think about the world and think about their lives. So I don't think it's possible for painters to become an endangered species. I think we just will continue to have many more types of art forms that arise and that join together with painting so that we can communicate what we're in and who we are. Well, I really like to talk about, I really like to use the word flux, fluidity. It is true that we live in a culture where we have multiple existences. So we exist in social media, we exist in different locations all the time, and we have multiple awarenesses these days of those various locations. So, we're in reality, we're online, we're kind of enhanced. It's almost as though, we're a larger version of our species as a result of that. But the fluidity that I respond to in my work, that in part is in there. That in part is about that is the way to live. That's the new way we are. That's what we are, a fluid entity. We go on and exist after death in all sorts of capturings of what we were, that, video, I'm being videoed now, that'll remain, I'll disappear. But I think this idea of fluidity is more in line with the entirety of the world. It's not just to do with media, it's to do with the way that everything is always slipping and changing constantly at great speed. And our new way to live is to be across that, to be aware of that, and to understand, well, I think for artists to understand that what we might be doing is expressing that sense of fluidity as a familiar position for people, connecting to people, not being didactic in works, not telling people what works are about, but communicating a sense that as a species we're in a fluid state. This is the part where I'm supposed to say something like, oh, it's insanity. Or, sometimes I feel like I'm just a mad person away in a corner in a room making something, but I won't say that. I'll say that all of my life I've been driven to create and to make things. And I don't know, I think it's kind of an answer to things failing. I think painting is an activity that's full of hope, where we find something. We find something that is that reminds us of our desires, that connects to our desires, that takes us somewhere. And so for a person making a work, what I do is I connect into my desires. I work very intuitively, and I connect in the main to my unconscious, but some conscious workings in the work. And so I'm fascinated in that. I can't stop that, and I can't ever imagine myself coming to a stage where I can't do that. my advice always to people who want to be painters is, yes, you can do that. My advice to people who have a desire to do something is, yes, that's very possible. And in terms of painting or in terms of being an artist, this is a way you can go about that. I'm fond of talking to my students about a great project of art and how we're all interlinked with that, and how that is a kind of vitality in society. And I would commend them for wanting to be a painter, to wanting to go down that path. It's difficult, but all areas in the creative fields are difficult, every area. And it takes a lot of capacity. It takes a lot of energy, but it's a wonderful thing to have in one's life. It's a wonderful thing to live a life that's creative.